You're listening to Soul Lounge Primetime on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem, with DJ Leroy and the Night Watchman.
All right, DJ Leroy.
Night Watchman, my brother, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So you know what? It doesn't stop. Culinary delights,
hmm
hospitality. That's the thing. That's the thing that literally has sustained this community. So we're going
hmm
to continue that conversation with some more restaurateurs, culinary experts, those who make sure that not only essential workers are taken care of, but also us, you and I.
hmm
What do you
hmm
think about that?
Right.
So
Okay.
well, one of the first people, as a matter of fact, now you know my son Julian. So Julian, what did he identify? He identified he used to love going to Jimbo's, getting his hamburgers and stuff like that. Then
hmm
suddenly this oasis popped up on Lenox Avenue at 124th Street. And that
Uh-huh.
oasis, which he then embraced as his favorite, being
hmm
Harlem Shake. So let's bring out the founder, Miss Jelana Pasic. She is, of course, milkshake curator. I didn't even know about that part. I used to love the chocolate, very thick and smooth milkshake that you would do, Yelena. So please do tell. How you doing? Welcome.
Hey guys,
All
thank you for
right.
the invitation. I'm doing great. How are you today?
Good, good. And
Good.
and also, Yelena, I'm not going to say that the reason I love coming into Harlem Shake is that I can gaze upon my image on your wall. I'm not even going to say that, okay? But hey, yes.
I'll never, I'll never hurt you guys.
Never, never. And of course, another one, Night Watchman, who definitely will is joining us. I know remotely because she's taking care of doing some art installations. But I was on. I said, "You got to tell me, Lauren, why you're not having deliveries." But then suddenly COVID hits, and now Harlem Public delivers to my
All
neck of
right.
the woods, my West Harlem community. So, Lauren, love you, my dear. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. You get my face for a moment here before I start driving. But
Love it.
we are doing well. Deliveries doing well. All three existing bars, Harlem Public, At the
Uh,
Wall, Honeywell, have made it through this very rough, 15 months. And
mm-hmm.
we're excited. We're working on opening a new concept called the North End at 183rd and Broadway right now. But
Oh.
we're headed
Oh.
with this paint that we ran out of.
Understood. Understood. Well, welcome, my dear. Uh, Next
Thank you.
person is actually, and I didn't even know that. So here in the States, we have, of course, CIA. But there in, of course, in France, it's the French Culinary Institute. And this brother, talk about a serious culinary person. We're talking about not only winning a season of Top Chef, but also having a real cool name for the company, Butterfunk Biscuit Company. Come on out here, Mr. Christopher Scott.
Okay.
How are you,
Chris,
gentlemen?
good, good.
Hey, glad
So
to
Chris,
join.
absolutely. So I'm not going to be mad at you because I did see, of course, the first location that you did open was a BK,
Yes.
Brooklyn. But
Yeah, the
but
original
but
spot. Yeah.
you're coming to Harlem.
Yes,
You're
sir.
coming.
Yes, sir. Coming uptown.
That's right, Uptown. It was, Uptown Funk with the Butterfunk Biscuit Company. So I love that, man. And you know what, Night Watchman, and tell me, is he on deck yet? Has he arrived?
No.
Okay, so then you know what? Let us begin here. Okay,
hmm
so Jelena from Croatia and arriving in the States, please tell us your journey to your culinary position and opening up Harlem Shake because I know that the first home was not in Central Harlem, but in Washington Heights. So please do tell.
So, I used to love cooking even when I was a kid. My grandma really influenced me, but that was a totally different cuisine, right? I come from the coast of Croatia, so Mediterranean is my thing. That's what I, love eating and cooking at home. When I arrived to the United States, I had some multinational company experience and background, and also I had my business degree, and I was full of like life and entrepreneurial desires. So my previous husband and I decided to open a small coffee shop in Columbia Presbyterian vicinity on 168 and Broadway. And that went very well. So we continued on to have another one within the Columbia University Medical Center, then another pasta and grill little shop. That went very well. So we expanded. We had a full service restaurant. So at one point we were, having these 4 places. And that was all wonderful for some years. But then personally, we just took at that, like it was not working out. So how I fell in love with Harlem was I would go on a train every day after work, or twice a week or 3 times a week, and I would go to the New York sports clubs on 125th at that time, and started having friends. Craig Hunter was my spinning instructor, still old, one of my oldest friends. Just meeting people in Harlem, and I realized I really want to be there. I love the people, I love the architecture, I love the vibes. It gave me more like a village vibe, which we all know is very different than the rest of New York City, in my opinion. And so that was maybe 2004, starting around there. And it took me full 5-6 years to really get my things together. We sold all of our previous businesses, and then through another friend, I found this location on 124th and Lenox, and you remember what that was back in the day. It was,
yes.
like a Caribbean restaurant, the blue wall. So
at South Beach, I remember.
South Beach, yeah. Lenox Lounge was still there. I was so thrilled that I was going to be able to have a place next to the famed Lenox Lounge. That sounded like a dream come true. Unfortunately, a dream dispelled on that day, on the 31st of December 2012, when we woke up on New Year's, it was gone. But I jumped on that opportunity, signed a lease as soon as I got my hands on it, and the rest is history. We opened in May 2013, and yesterday we celebrated our 8th birthday.
Wow!
Congratulations! Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, Lauren, a Jersey girl, do tell us your journey, and not having just one, but 3 hospitality concepts. Do tell.
So I didn't really have, my background was actually in education. So, but I always worked since I'm like 15 within restaurants. And I even, kind of when I was graduating with my master's and everyone was excited about getting in the classroom, I was like, I'm just going to go to Aspen and bartend for a while. That sounds a little more appealing. So yeah. And then I moved to Boston and worked at Wayfair before it was Wayfair. I was like one of the first few hundred employees there. So I had one of my business partners had already opened a few restaurants, and they kind of come from a family of bar owners, and he was living in Harlem, as was our future business partner, who kept saying, there's so much going on in Central Harlem, but there's not very much going on in West Harlem. And we just started kind of visiting there and walking around, and immediately fell in love with the neighborhood and the people, and we found this space, and I don't think I told anybody I was doing it until I sunk my life savings and signed up for their lease. So Mom and Dad were totally in the dark. But we knew it was right, and everybody, it didn't matter who it was, like longtime residents or someone who just moved there to be on Broadway, was like, we need more places. We meet, a lot of it used to be an amazing bar scene along Broadway in West Harlem, and they had lost that entire scene in the 90s, and there's just a lot of empty storefronts that gave kind of like a canvas for things that the neighborhood would ultimately need, and that was the direction that we went in. We started with Harlem Public in 2012. And then 2 years later, the space came open next door. So we opened up at the Wallace as it's kind of a sports bar. We do drag shows. It's a everything. And then eventually in 2016, we opened up the Honeywell, which is, more of a cocktail bar and a little bit more high end. I wouldn't have opened it in 2012. But one of the silver linings of the pandemic is that we now have a huge backyard there. It's very whimsical and kind of a place to escape the craziness on Broadway. So, and you know, and as Curtis said earlier, the other silver lining is that we finally decided to do delivery, and you know, with the outdoor dining, indoor dining coming back, our kitchens are so small that we really can't. We have to keep turning off delivery, and people will text me like Curtis and say, "What's going on with delivery?" Like, I just had Wendy from Al Taylor's office text me yesterday.
Oh,
Why
really?
can't I order a burger? What's going on? And I'm like, we're working on it. We're working on our new kitchen so that we can finally keep delivery going all the time. So. So the new spot, which has been 3 years in the making, should be open in June, and that's going to be called the North End. It's in Washington Heights, so just north of the George Washington Bridge at 183rd and Broadway.
Nice. All right, beautiful. Well, Chris, from the French Culinary Institute to not only, of course, Top Chef season 15. Do tell, how'd you end up there in BK, and also tell us the history of Butterfunk in terms of the whole family history in terms of recipes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the original Butterfunk back in Brooklyn, we opened that in 2016, and we already had one restaurant that was directly next door called Brooklyn Commune. And it was really a community spot. We were deeply involved in like all the families there. We would have kids cooking classes. We built victory gardens, you know, for a women's shelter. And then we kind of got the opportunity to have the space right next door. And it's always been one of my dreams to kind of have something that I could kind of reflect and make and like build a restaurant around my family and the history of that. So I reached out to a bunch of cousins, uncles, aunts, and I said, listen, I need you to give me all the photos and everything of our family. So these guys started sending me like pictures of me as a teenager back in the 80s. I said, no, I need like our real ancestors all the way back. So we reached back. I got with my uncles and aunts, you know, and we started going through all these pictures. And some of it we were talking about who is this person, what do they do for a living, and mostly what did they eat, you know? So we started talking about how the food of our family and how it sustained us. We even got photos all the way back to 7 generations back.
Wow.
Which is fantastic. Yeah. So the restaurant was doing well. We got written up by the Times and the Village Voice, and we won Best New Restaurant in Brooklyn in 2016 or 20, I think in 2016 or 2017. And then we kept on doing great things.
Right.
And then I got picked up by Top Chef. And that's when things really started happening at that point. You know, I finished as a finalist there. And when I came back and the show started to air, I mean, brother, there were lines around the door. Our spot sat about 78 covers. But I mean, if you weren't in line outside for that first seating, then you almost had an hour and a half or 2 hour wait until the next wave was able to come in. And I'm talking people were in line in December.
Wow. Okay.
So,
you definitely were rocking it then. Yes, for sure.
So this was a special place. And I like to say, you know, like it wasn't necessarily like, and I like to call it gentrified soul food that you see all over the place, you know, like this place really gave you that real feel of the way that it was in your kitchen, in your grandmother's kitchen back in the day, when you would sit in there and enjoy the food, hear the conversations, sit there with your cousins and everything. That was the feel right when you walked in. It looked like that. It smelled like that. The soundtrack that was always playing was either Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Players. You know what I'm saying? Like you really got that feel. You know.
Beautiful.
So that's really the origin of Butterfunk right there.
Nice. Well, Chris, it's interesting because literally the person who actually put you on the map is the guy I'm about to talk about, and that of course is Franklin Becker, my man. What's up, buddy?
How's everything? I don't think I put him on the map. I think he put himself on the map.
The map in my head, but absolutely. So Franklin, do tell your journey, and like I said, both you and Chris are going to be talking about the opening in Columbia's building. So tell us your journey, Franklin.
All right, I'm just going to plug this in. And see right here, because I think you'll get better down this way. Do you hear me better now?
Yes.
Do you hear me better?
Yes.
Oh, but I don't hear you. So guess what? I'm going to disconnect this.
Okay. That's pretty par for the course for today.
Now you're on mute now.
You hear me now?
Now we hear you. Yes.
Okay. So talking about technical difficulties, boy, did I have my share today. I gotta tell you. So you want me to talk about my journey in life, or my journey in culinary, or my journey to get to Columbia? What do you want?
Your journey. Let's say in terms of culinary, and also I understand that you are a Brooklyn guy. So do tell what attracted you to the whole culinary expertise that we're now enjoying from you.
You know what? It's interesting. My mom was really sick when I was young. When I was about 7, she had a stroke, and my father was like the worst cook ever. Like I'm talking about like horrible. And if you know anything about Jewish soul food, you'll know that matzah brie exists as Jewish soul food. And this guy would flip the matzah brie, and it would end up on the ceiling. So you know, there was some serious problems, and you know, I just started to help my mother in the kitchen as her hands literally as she started to recover. I just started to help her in the kitchen, and I don't think I ever left. And then at 14, I worked my first job, you know, initially as a busboy, and then as a kitchen prep, and, you know, dishwasher and kitchen prep and doing everything you could possibly do. And I ended up, you know, working through college, working through high school, ended up at the Culinary Institute of America. You know, and worked my way through, you know, very, very good kitchens like Charlie Palmer and Bobby Flay and David Walzug and places, you know, chefs along those lines, and just worked my way up. And come 1999, I took over a restaurant now defunct called Local, and I won my first 2-star review and a look from James Beard and everything else, and my career took off, and just never stopped since. You know, I had Best New Restaurants in America in 2003. I had Star Chef's Rising Star Chef in 2006, and then I got the nod to go on Top Chef Masters in 2013. You know, do you know Catch? I created Catch. Little Feed, all of those restaurants, and now I have my own company called F. Becker Hospitality, and we're going into Columbia University. We're opening up a place called Manhattanville Market, which is going to be incredible. And I tapped Chris to do Butterfunk Biscuit there.
Nice, and well, I definitely do feel a hunger from you, Franklin, because not only that, but you've also made some inquiries about stuff along 12th Avenue. So are we thinking big time that we're thinking about some other concepts coming to maybe that corridor?
I love Harlem because you know what it is about Harlem? It's real, right? Like I love real neighborhoods. I grew up in a real neighborhood in Brooklyn. You know, there's a sense of there's character, there's a sense of self, there's just this wonderful organic, if you would, you know where you are, right? Like you know where you are when you're in Harlem, and and every turn, you look at different things and you notice different things every time you go there. And you notice the beauty of Harlem every time you go there. It's really, I mean, the architecture alone, throughout Harlem, whether you're talking about Morningside Drive, where I used to live, or you're talking about areas north of that on the river and so forth, and the churches, and it's just a powerful neighborhood. It's just
Absolutely.
a powerful neighborhood,
Well, and I'm feeling that Chris talking about coming from BK to Harlem or whatnot. Just when the Nets have a serious winning season, I mean, come on, you're abandoning that to come up here? Yes, we have the Knicks, that's true, but I mean, what are you going to do? You excited?
Truly excited to be coming uptown. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not big on the Nets originally from Philly, so I'm Sixers all the way. Sixers were going to finish in the first seed, by the way. But,
yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful journey to be able to bring that Butterfunk flavor and history to Manhattan, especially uptown.
Okay.
I'm so excited to like dig deep into the community up there. Kind of walk the neighborhood, feel the vibe, hear the sounds, meet the people. Everything that Franklin was talking about. That's really how we get on the grassroots level of these places. By meeting the people, by talking to them. We're not just another spot going up there just to to set up shop. We're always committed to the communities that we're in.
Absolutely. So, Jelana, one of the things I certainly do know about you is your serious commitment to the community, to Central Harlem and beyond. The Mr. or Miss Harlem Shake has been a real fixture for the community. In addition, did I not notice some live music while we were in a lockdown emanating from your space? Do tell. How have you coped during the pandemic?
Pandemic has been obviously a very interesting. We were very fortunate with deliveries before that, so we didn't take such a big hit as some of our neighbors. That income stream with delivery just actually became bigger as full tablecloth services or full service restaurants were closing. We had that overflow even more business, so we really fared well. As you are talking about the commitment to the community, we were really interested in helping in any way we can. So, for example, with Park to Park, we did the feeding for the
essential workers.
Like for the exactly for the essential work, not only for this, for restaurant workers who were left out of jobs, but also we served probably like I think 3,000 meals first to Harlem Hospital and then to Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center through our Harlem Hero program. So that was anyone who orders on our website would have been able to buy a burger for the essential worker, and then we would add the fries to it, and we would deliver them weekly. And that was really a point of pride for us because essential workers were really grateful, and every Wednesday we had those deliveries, and I was personally driving them, and it made me feel really useful in the times where everybody was trying to pitch in. As far as Miss Harlem Shake contest, yes, it's amazing. This is our 7th year running. The first Miss Harlem Shake is Shannon Thornton, who was chosen just by us, and she's currently Miss Mississippi. If you've seen the P Valley show, so she climbed her ranks through the acting career and became quite a big star. So I guess we kind of
you launched it. You launched it. That's right.
Well, not really. I mean, she would probably like us to say that, but she was relatively unknown back then. Right now, she has some serious resume on her career. And then from 2014 and on, we've had amazing men and women. In fact, just one man. We opened our competition 2 men as well in 2017. But from 2014 and on, we had an amazing roster of people. Our competition is not a beauty contest. It's meant really to just represent people from the neighborhood who have love for Harlem. As Scott said, Harlem is, you're in Harlem. You're in Harlem, you're in Harlem. It's a special place. And we just want to pick a person that can represent that love and that can represent Harlem Shake throughout the year. So our competition goes on, applications start officially just as soon as the new Mr. or Mr. is selected. And to be honest with you, every year we have more and more. This year we had, I think, over 160 applications.
Nice.
You can just send an email throughout the year. They keep trickling in, and then things get very heated around, like, say, February, March. We start getting a lot of applications. The selection criteria is really 18 plus. So there is no upper age limit, any gender, any orientation. People, the only criteria is they have to be from the neighborhood. So then we select the finalists. This year we have 7 finalists, and then we let the people of the Harlem decide. So basically, each vote gives you each order gives you one vote. And it's been funny fun to see what our contestants have been crafting in the past few years to get more votes. They've had like battles in the restaurant. Currently, they're switching to online battles. If you follow our stories on Instagram or social media, you can see videos and TikToks and invitations. There was Toe Whopping Tina, who is one of our contestants this year, actually made Instagram hashtag love for Toe Whopping Tina. So whoever votes for her has to post there. So it's really cool. Like people are very crafty to get to win. And we keep the tally secret until the last minute, so the excitement keeps going. But we kind of like just say who's in the first place and the runner-ups. And we will have our final this year in 2014, where the current Miss will give the crown to the, which is not really a crown, it's a golden milkshake cup.
Gotcha.
She's gonna give the golden milkshake cup to the new winner. So yeah, that's been it about trying to have fun in the community, trying to contribute. The winner of the contest also can gives $1,000 to their local Harlem nonprofit of choice, which is important to us. They also get free burgers for a year. Well, that has always been something that's their favorite gift.
Absolutely.
They get $500 for themselves, and they get to ride on our African American Day Parade float, which unfortunately last year we didn't get to have a parade, but we hope that's going to resume soon.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, one of the things I heard from, of course, Franklin and Chris, Lauren, has been the whole idea of expansion and going into new areas, new arenas. So what prompted you to think about 183rd Street in Washington Heights? Do tell.
I think it was just kind of the opportunity that presented itself. The timing, we were in the middle of opening up the Honeywell, and when the project first started, I think it's like a 6,000 square foot space that's
a big space.
Big space. Very large. The dining area is about 4,500 square feet, and there's going to be eventually 4 food kiosks, a coffee shop, and then we have a big island bar that originally we were just doing the alcohol, but since a few of the other vendors have stepped away for various reasons, and we now realize the need for our kitchen in order to keep delivery going. We've shifted gears since Easter and built an entire kitchen, and our intention is to be able to service not only the neighborhood that we've been servicing all these years, but also Washington Heights, further into Inwood, and some parts of the Bronx. So giving us a wider spread now that we understand how delivery works and the benefits for our company of having delivery. So but it is, I'm very much having everything on the same 3 blocks in West Harlem, and then versus going into a new community. Even though I'm very familiar with Washington Heights, living up here for the last 10 years, you know, I feel like I literally lived above the bar for 8 years. So you kind of have a pulse on things.
For
what's
sure.
going on literally on your block when you're living it, versus, you know, it's feeling out and it's getting to know the different organizations that are up there, the politicians that are up there, our community, and it's just been really, you know, sometimes we just have to close the doors because so many people are excited. They just keep coming in and they want the tour. They want to hear all about everything. It's been 3 years coming, so they're just super pumped. And we have to be like, all right, but we have things to do. We have deadlines to hit. I need to pull my liquor license next week, and blah blah blah. So it's been really exciting, and you know, I have a, you know, everyone shoots for a deadline of when to open, but I'm also about to have a baby, so I'm like, no.
Oh. Congratulations! Hey,
Congratulations!
Yes, wow, Lauren, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm due on 4th of July. I'm like, this thing's opening in June. Like, it just has to. There's no going around it this time. So.
Wow, beautiful. All right, man. Well, one of the things that definitely has kind of struck me, and I have to say this is, and you said it earlier, Franklin, in terms of you're always kind of like thinking about the next opportunity or the next concept. Do you guys ever stop thinking about that, or what?
You know, it's not. I don't think I ever stop thinking about it. I think it's about making sure that if I see a venue or if I see a neighborhood, it's kind of answering the call to that neighborhood or to that venue, making sure that the food fits, making sure that the vibe fits. I try to look at everything holistically, right? What does the neighborhood need? What does it want? What's there already? Can I fill a niche that's missing? I think that's the most important thing when opening up a business is knowing your comp set, knowing price points, knowing, you know, it all comes into play, right? It all comes into play. Certainly you can build it and they'll come, which is the field of dreams. And, you know, Lord knows there are restaurateurs that follow that kind of mantra. I tend to follow the mantra of what is necessary. What can I do to kind of be a part of the community? You know, how do I support the community? You know, one thing we want to do is obviously hire from within the community. We want to make sure we're going to eventually have a bazaar that's going to be on the outside of the facility on weekends. Bazaar will feature everything from a farmer's market to different Harlem artisans kind of showcasing their wares. That'll be free to them.
Okay.
I'm not going to charge them rent. And the whole idea is to just kind of, you know, Manhattanville's been such a controversial project, I think, for the community.
You talk about the expansion of Columbia into Manhattanville.
Correct.
Got it.
It's been so controversial that how do we bring the neighborhood into it and make the neighborhood feel as though it's not separate?
Got it.
And I think that's what we're trying to do, and hopefully we'll succeed at that.
Gotcha. Okay. You know, something I'm curious about. So, Jelana, in terms of you having, what is that, beer and wine at Harlem Shake, I'm curious, Franklin, Chris, will there be beer and wine at your establishment? Because certainly we do know that both students and also the professors, they drink.
So it's interesting. We have actually 5 concepts at Manhattanville Market. Of course, we have Chris Scott's Butterfunk Biscuit. We have the Botanist, which is a living salad concept. We have Shai, which is an Israeli hummus. And then we have Benny Casanova's, which is a pizza concept. So that's all part of the food hall. And then you step up kind of a whole grade, and you step into Oliva, which is our Spanish tapas restaurant. And that has a full liquor license. We are actually taking liberties on Spain. So, I mean, we're going to have 2 beers on tap, an Asterian cider on tap. We have a sangria on tap and a wine on tap. We have obviously an entire, gin program and tequila program and vermouth program, sherries.
Wow.
So you name it, we've got it. And the price points are great. It's all about making sure that people just come in and have a good time.
Excellent. Jelana, you heard me about in terms of beer and wine there at Harlem Shake. That was, I guess, one of the easier licenses to get from SLA.
It wasn't too hard. I mean, we were actually planning on the full liquor license, but we could not do it because of the church next door. Our idea was to have spiked shakes. I also want to make an announcement. We're actually expanding to Brooklyn. I'll just say a teaser. I think we might be happy to get a full liquor license there. I don't want to say anything until the ink is on the paper, but at this point, we're really probably going to be there in a week or so.
That's great.
So the beer and wine was not hard.
Brooklyn's going to Harlem, and now Harlem's going to Brooklyn.
Yeah. Who knew?
I wanted to tie it to when Scott said, going to a new community is going to be an adventure. It's
nice
slope, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh,
very excited about it.
Yeah, it is a nice little restaurant scene around Park Slope. That's good. Okay, nice.
Yeah, I think the proximity of the Barclays Center and etc. So we're really excited. We think there's probably space for us there. That's going to be great.
The slope is very similar to Harlem in a lot of ways. It's very culturally diverse. There's tons of brownstones. It really kind of evokes a neighborhood. It's just like Harlem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jelana,
we're very excited. I mean, it's very residential.
So you also are one of these who also look at the next opportunity. I remember also when you did East Harlem. So you're always thinking about the next opportunity and what a community may require.
Exactly. I really had a passion to do it in East Harlem. As you know, I'm definitely an uptown girl. I spent most of my career in uptown, in Washington Heights, then Harlem, and then I lived in Harlem since 2012 to 2017. I moved to Jersey, got a good opportunity here to buy a home. But other than that, I've lived in Washington Heights since 2002. And I was passionate about opening in East Harlem because I really wanted Harlem Shake to have that footprint of Harlem.
Right.
West Harlem would have been one of the better options, I would say, right now in terms of business. After we saw that this just wasn't working out in East Harlem, I think we made a bad marketing decision. It was really a learning curve. I think the Mountain Bird came to the same spot on 111th and 2nd after us, but unfortunately it looks like they also shut down. So that's a very tough stretch right there.
Absolutely.
We're also looking, I mean, the whole pandemic mostly I've spent developing franchise concept. So can't really speak on it now for legal reasons, but really it's been in the making for the past 12 months. And then we saw this opportunity for another wholly owned store. That's a really great location. And I think I'm very excited to try to do that. And it's going to be interesting to see how the distance will work out with, not having a commissary kitchen. Same challenges that Harlem Public is facing. We just don't have a kitchen that's big enough on 124th Street. During the pandemic, we've built on our delivery so much. Like I said, we basically increased our delivery. It completely took over. Let me just say we have had no loss of revenue. So that means all of the in-house business that we had prior to the pandemic was, delivery just boosted. And right now that we're going into sit-down business, it's becoming super challenging. So same story, we have to shut down deliveries. Sometimes it's just hard because it's of course no one wants to downsize something you've built and you were fortunate to build.
I,
So
I,
I'm
I
curious to see
I'm a
how
little curious.
Brooklyn will those.
Exactly. That's what I'm curious about, to see how that's going to pan out. Also, and help me, you restaurateurs, educate me in terms of the liquor license. Can it go to anywhere that you go, if provided the environment is correct, that there's not a church nearby? Is that how should I say, is that particular liquor license just unique to your current spot, or is it transferable? Somebody weigh in and let me know.
So each liquor license is for the individual spot. The fact that you've gone through a liquor license process prior usually guarantees you the fact that you're going to get a liquor license on the next location, provided that there are no stipulations or no community board issues that arise. The community board weighs in heavily on the liquor license. I have a spot downtown that's having trouble with the liquor license. We'll get it, but it's just having trouble with the liquor license. There are no guarantees, but it does make it easier if you've already passed through the SLA process.
Gotcha. Night Watchman, how we doing, buddy?
We're doing good. We've got a few minutes left. I wanted to ask you guys, what do you see summer of 2021 looking like? The good, the bad, and the ugly, because this is obviously a summer like no other has been. So how do you see it unfolding in terms of bringing people back, in terms of new challenges, any protocols that you feel that you need to have put in order to make people comfortable? So we'd like to just kind of hear from you in terms of what the summer is going to look like this year.
I mean, I'd love to take that question, Night Watchman. I really would. I believe that it's going to be a summer of excess. I think people are going to come out. They're going to rip off their clothes, literally.
I agree.
And they're going to start the partying process, which is a little scary, to be honest. It's a little scary because I think we still need to be cautious, and we need to be intelligent and smart if we're going to come out of this cleanly. You just need to look over the pond, and you need to look to India, and you need to look to different places in the world where the pandemic is not over, and we are not finished with it yet. Just because we're doing well, that has to do with New York's perseverance. It has to do with the way we've handled ourselves in general throughout the pandemic as a city, with people responsible and wearing masks and doing the things that are necessary. So I think we still need to kind of throw caution into the wind and be careful. But I don't think the youth is going to follow. It's going to follow that. I think the youth is going to go crazy. I really do. I think what we need to do is really keep it outside as much as possible, and hope that we don't spiral backwards. Hopefully, we have enough vaccinated people to move forward. But I do think it's going to be a rager. I think there's going to be some serious partying going on.
Gotcha.
I'd like to chime in too. I have two teen daughters and a 3-year-old. I can totally agree saying my daughters are 18 and 17. The youth will go crazy. And I think also it's going to be something like the Roaring 20s, because people have been bottled up for so long. People have been suppressing their urge to socialize, to just live their lives. Sunshine Spring, you can tell that people are just looking. We see, droves of people, and I think that's how it's going to continue. I think it's great that CDC has told the fully vaccinated. That really will entice more people to get vaccinated. My only question is, how are they going to actually check who is and who is vaccinated and who's actually just being irresponsible?
Chris,
Because
what's your
unless
thoughts?
it's on their forehead, there may be young people who are just like going to be going out and pretending they're vaccinated. The CDC just issued a mandate that you could be indoors with no mask if you're fully vaccinated. Now, who's going to be enforcing and checking that? I think if that was well enforced, it would be a great enticement to get all people vaccinated, so we can actually safely reopen and really, let people enjoy life and all the social joys that it has to bring.
Yeah, on what Franklin was saying, I do believe that it's going to be bananas. People are really excited to be coming out. The weather's going to be nice, for so many reasons. I think that restaurants and bars and all that are really going to hit the ground, but I also think that it's a good time for restaurants to hit that reset button, because as restaurateurs and chefs and people that work in the industry, we literally kill ourselves working crazy hours just to make it happen. I think that with all this downtime, it gives us time to reflect on ourselves, our families, our lives, our mental health and everything, so that once we now return to it, now we're going to think of how to maintain that standard, that high standard, but also a way to kind of live right by us as well. What's good for our spirit and our soul, so that it's more, that it's better for everyone. The restaurant business, as beautiful as it seems to everyone on the outside, for those that work in the biz, it's a lot, and I think
Ruthless.
that with time, we can kind of hit that reset and just kind of know how to move forward too.
Chris, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the one positive thing that came out of the pandemic was we brought family back together, and friends back together. You had your social circles, whether you Zoomed and cocktails over Zoom, or you did, or you even though we couldn't necessarily physically contact or connect with our families and our friends, it brought the importance of family and friendship back. I think a lot of us probably called on friends that we hadn't spoken to in a long time, and we checked in on them and we made sure they were okay. Some of us lost some people that were near and dear to us, and that kind of put things in perspective, that life is short. So I think that we, especially our generation, right? Like those 40 plus, and I said that kindly because I'm certainly 50 plus. I think those 40 plus have really had a new outlook on life. I think it's. And I hopefully, to Chris's point, we're going to have a nice work-life balance. I see Helena sitting on her porch, enjoying a sunny afternoon with her shades on. That's great. I think we all need to hit resets. We all need to look at life for what it is and cherish it, and go out and enjoy yourselves at our restaurants, ideally, but go out and enjoy yourselves. But just be careful, just be careful and be intelligent.
Absolutely. And Lauren, I mean, you're going to have the restaurant opening, but then voila, we have a baby that has appeared. So we're talking about some good old maternity leave. I want to know, who is the partner who's going to be watching the day-to-day? You trust him? You got a good partner team there, or what?
Yeah, we've had a good team for a while now, and we've brought some people, some long-term employees into the fold for as partners and revenue shares. So that's I'll definitely be leaning on them. I'm somewhat of a micromanager, so it's been a real. I mean, this whole year has been a real surrender and control. Right? There's only so many things that we're able to control, and so it's a lot of soul searching as to sometimes things are what they are, and it's been a big year of surrender for me. And the whole not making assumptions and making sure that just communication is high, and it was very easy this year to kind of go into yourself when really it was essential to be reaching out to others and relying on others and communicating when you needed help. So it's been a good practice, I think, for having my first child. And my hope is to just get through the next few months and then maybe go to Mexico for 3 months and just be a mom.
Very nice. Very nice.
Are you having a boy or a girl?
I don't know. I'm gonna be surprised. That was part of the surrender thing, because I love surprises, and I was like, I have to plan this. I have to plan the nursery, and I'm like, I just like, what's the word that we use? Like, I just pivoted the bars like 15 times in a year. I think I can handle the nursery, after the fact. So I don't know what it is yet, but we're really excited.
Well, good luck.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck. I think the word you coined, the surrender and control, couldn't put it better. I mean, 2020 was something else. How you leave, the hands off the wheel and just trust everyone in the team it has been a huge learning for me. After I think all restaurateurs are a little bit of control freaks. We learn to be in the show, we learned to be hands-on, but now that has been really a new learning experience, at least for me.
Yeah, Jelana, because you also went through the same experience in terms of you had teenage daughters, and then suddenly, it was like Godfather 3. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. So, so do tell your experience in terms of now having a little one.
So when I opened the Harlem Shake, as I said, I was going through a divorce, and I had two little ones. They were 8 and maybe 7, 6. I really wanted a concept that was not going to be late night. So no bar, no liquor, because I was a single mom, and I wanted to sell burgers and shakes and be home like, at a decent hour, which I guess in the restaurant world is like 7 or 8. So I can spend some time with my kids. So that was really the idea behind the Harlem Shake. I was adamant about, having a fast casual concept, not full service and no liquor. I have experience in a bar and full service restaurants. But then my little one happened now. She's 3. And it was pretty much same experience like Lauren's. We've opened East Harlem. It was running, and I was pregnant, and I was getting ready to have a baby. And it was, I won't say it was easy, because it is very challenging to try to balance those two things, especially if that's your third one. At this point, I thought pandemic was really fortunate for me, because I had bonus year when she was 2, the pandemic was kicking, and I was so happy that I had some extra time to spend with my 3-year-old. And now I'm really finding it hard to let go of that whole mom job. I think that I'm enjoying so much. So it will be challenging with Brooklyn and Harlem and the 3-year-old. And so I agree. It's
Gotcha.
It is moms always have an extra job on top of.
I'll tell you. I mean, as a father of 2, and I know there's many fathers on this call. Women, I applaud you, because God, I don't know how you do it. You literally, you have to deal with so much, and it's. You're so much stronger than we are as men. It's incredible, but it's the truth.
Absolutely. Chris, what about you? Tell us the family story. You said you were contacting family throughout let's say the country to really get those old vintage pictures and everything. And what about yourself? You have brothers and sisters and any children?
Yeah, I got 4 kids.
Woo!
My oldest is in graduate school at York University in Toronto. Yeah.
You're not that old. You're not that old, man. Come on.
I just turned 53 2 days ago.
All right.
Well, all right.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
But yeah, you know, like what I think that what is really important about the food that we're doing there is that I'm taking something from my family and it's historic and everything. And I always call it, it's almost like all these recipes are like love letters, you know, that are passed down from one generation to the next, to the next, to the next, you know. And I'm just hoping that my children, you know, will cook, you know, the same food, you know, because this is one thing that is truly ours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Night Watchman.
We are wrapping up.
And what I basically got to say, give us some parting words of wisdom. We have lost the mother to be, and we love her for her participation. And we're all going to have to do a group visit to her new spot there on 183rd Street. But Franklin, what are some of your parting words to this group?
You know, number one, I want to thank you, Curtis, because you've been a great support thus far. I met you recently, and God, you're just a wealth of knowledge onto the neighborhood, and I can't wait to have you out at Manhattanville Market. You know, you'll experience Butterfunk, you'll experience Viva, you'll experience them all. I guess my parting ways would be stand strong, and be safe and be smart, and I hopefully will continue to spin out of this, and God willing, you know, next year and the remainder of this year will be good ones.
Excellent. Thank you, Franklin.
Health to everybody first and foremost, and then we can concentrate on wealth after that.
Yes, and I promise, Franklin, I won't go buck wild at getting out there once, you know, the lockdown is lifted completely.
Curtis,
okay?
I want to see you
I'm going to be,
buddy, in your skivvies.
Lord, yes, restaurateurs are a special breed. Jelana, do tell us.
I just think my parting words of wisdom would be, you know, don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Make every day today, live in today, and make every decision that you make focus on today. And another thing that I find very important, embrace the little things in the people around you and neighborhoods around you, if you're a business or if you're just a person in the community, because those things somehow evolve to be the most important things. When you line them all up, they create that beautiful fabric of the life that life is. So.
All right.
Absolutely. And Chris, tell us, what are your parting words of wisdom?
Absolutely. So, you know, when I was years ago in my 20s, I was cooking at a place in Philly, and we just happened to have the jazz great Art Blakey in the dining room.
Moaning, baby, moaning, yes.
Had the opportunity to meet Art Blakey, and he dropped some knowledge on us. He said, remember to feed the people with love. So that's something that's been with me, and I give it to you today. Feed the people with love.
Excellent. Oh, and I guess, Night Watchman, I got to find out if I wanted to visit these guys. Okay, so where do I go? Jelana, give me your address.
100 West 124th Street, corner of Lenox. And don't forget to check out our live jazz music, which we didn't talk about. It's 5 to 8 on Saturdays and 3 to 6 on Sunday. We have some really groovy days coming up. So
gotcha.
Hopefully we'll see you there.
All right, Franklin and Chris, how do I visit you guys? Well, it's coming online. Hopefully, we're optimistic in June. Do tell.
We are opening between June 15th and June 30th. The address is 3227 Broadway, the corner of 132nd, between 132nd and 125th, I guess it is. It's the Jerome L. Green Science Center building. It's that whole corner, and it's going to be awesome. I mean, we are going to have a good time.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I guess one of the last things I say, and I'll get everybody this information. So if it were to happen this year, and that, of course, is Harlem Eat Up, is everybody down for that?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely,
all right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Beautiful.
We're going to get some Butterfunk biscuits in people's mouths. That's what we're going to
All right.
So, Night Watchman, go ahead, buddy.
Well, this has been Soul Lounge Primetime live on WHCR 90.3 FM, Mondays at 7, live on YouTube at 8 on the Soul Lounge Primetime YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us, and we will be back again next week.